Because we know some people are not here today, we're going to record this for their benefit. And as you are getting comfortable, I'd ask that you just have something near you where you can jot down thoughts at the end. That could be your computer in front of you, it could be pen and paper, whatever you feel comfortable with at the end. So, as we're preparing, I invite you to take a few good, deep cleansing breaths. To breathe in deeply through your nose and breathe out deeply through your mouth. And extending what Bethany said earlier, just allow whatever else was happening today or whatever will happen later to stay in its place. If it's happened already, it is in the past. If it's yet to come, it is not here yet. And so you do not have to worry about it. And as you continue to breathe, I want to invite you to start to relax, to release all of the tense muscles that you feel. And anywhere you specifically feel tension, to send breath to that place and allow the breath to unknot it and melt it away. To fully feel the seat beneath you and allow yourself to depend on it, to relax into it. And as you're breathing, I invite you now to close your eyes and allow the little muscles in your face to relax, softening your jaw, relaxing your cheeks. And as you continue to breathe, to allow your neck to soften, to release any tension in your shoulders, allowing that tension to just roll down your back and melt into the seat beneath you. Allowing your spine to relax and release. Breathing into your chest, and anywhere you feel tension there, let it release. Releasing your stomach, softening your pelvis, further grounding into your seat. Releasing any tension in your arms, softening your elbows and your wrists. Allowing those fingers that work so hard all day typing to release. Again, letting any tension just melt into the seat beneath you. Relaxing your thighs and softening your knees. Letting the tension run down through your calves and out through the soles of your feet. Softening your ankles and releasing your toes. Continuing to breathe, and anywhere you feel any remaining tension, send more breath to that place and allow your breath to unknot it and melt it away. Imagine your body is like a body of water, a smooth, calm lake. The currents on that lake like your breath, allowing the current to roll up and over you, soothing any release, any remaining tension, and allowing the current going away from you to be your exhale as all of it drifts away. Take a moment to enjoy the weightless relaxation of your body of water. Now bring your attention to the spot on your forehead, right between your eyes. Notice that from that spot on your forehead, a beam of light stretches out and into the sky. Notice if that beam of light has a color or set of colors in it. Notice the quality of that light. Notice that this beam of light stretches all the way up out of the room that you're in, out above and through the ceiling. Notice that it actually stretches all the way up out of the building that you're in and shines out into the sky. Notice that if you allow yourself to, your consciousness can hover or walk or float along that beam of light. Go ahead and allow yourself to start to travel along this beam. Imagine yourself being slowly and safely pulled up out of the room that you're in, following it through the ceiling, out through the roof, and out into the sky. Allow that beam to take you higher and higher, noticing as the building where you were before gets smaller in your view, and your city or town beneath comes into full view below you. Allow it to pull you up faster. Allow it to move you through fluffy white clouds as the sun shines on your face. You travel higher and higher still, your region becoming in view until it's so far away, everything is like little ants below you. And then you travel up higher and higher still until you pop out of the atmosphere and into the blue, black velvetiness of space. Watch as our beautiful earth beneath you gets smaller and smaller in your view until it is just a blue, green, and white marble in the distance. And then it is no longer in your view. And you are cocooned by that blue, black velvetiness of space. Take a moment to enjoy the silence here. Now notice that there in the blue blackness of space, right next to the beam of light that you came up on, is another beam of light. Notice the color and quality of that beam. Notice that this new beam of light stretches all the way back down toward Earth, back down toward Earth 20 years from now, 20 years in the future. Go ahead and allow yourself to step onto this new beam and allow it to gracefully carry you down. Notice as the beauty of Earth starts to come back into focus again, the contours getting bigger and bigger in your view until finally you pop back into the atmosphere, float down through fluffy white clouds, allowing the sun to shine on your face as you begin to get closer to Earth, to the ground. Start to notice that you are going to the home, the dwelling place of your future self, yourself 20 years from now. This beam of light is taking you to meet that future self. Notice as you descend the part of the world you are in. As the beam of light sets you safely on the ground, take in your surroundings. What kind of place is this? What is it like here? What does it feel like? What does it smell like? Take in the outside. Then notice that there in front of you is a dwelling place. It is the home of your future self. Make your way toward the door. And as you approach, see that your future self is there waiting to warmly greet you and welcome you inside. Take in their presence and their faith. Let them invite you inside. Notice what the inside of the home is like. Notice as they offer you something to eat and something to drink. They are very excited to take you to their favorite spot in the home for a chat. They are present and ready to listen to you and to share with you. Go with your future self to that favorite spot and notice what it feels like. As you start to chat, start by asking them, what has mattered most to them over the past 20 years? They may answer in words or with a feeling, a facial expression, or images. Listen in all the ways that they communicate with you. Again, what has mattered most to them over the past 20 years? Ask them, what do I need to know to get from where I am to where you are? What do I need to know to get from where I am to where you are? Again, listen in all the ways that they communicate. Ask them, how do I speak and stand in my own truth? Listen to their answers and allow the answers to surprise you. Now go ahead and ask them any other questions about anything you'd like their perspective on, be it big or small, personal or professional, a dilemma, a tough situation, anything you'd like their perspective on. As the two of you are continuing your conversation, ask them, what is your true name other than your given name? What name are you called by? Be open to whatever surprising name shows up here first. It may make sense to you or it may not. Now start to bring your visit with them to a close, knowing that you can come back and visit with them at any time. Thank them for their wisdom and the guidance they've offered you. As you're getting up to leave, notice that they are very excited to bring you a parting gift. Allow them to bring it to you and notice what it is. With your gift in hand, make your final goodbyes and make your way out of the home and find yourself back at the beam of light that brought you to them. With a final wave, go ahead and step on that beam of light and allow it to safely and swiftly carry you up again, watching as the home beneath gets smaller and you fly higher and higher once again through the fluffy clouds, popping out of the atmosphere, traveling back into the blue-black velvetiness of space, watching Earth get smaller and smaller in your view until it is no longer in your view and you are cocooned by the silence of space. Again, allow yourself to enjoy it. And when you are ready, notice that there beside you is the original beam of light that brought you up. It is ready and waiting to take you back to your waiting body. Allow yourself to step on that beam and again travel down swiftly and safely back to Earth in the present time. Seeing Earth as it comes back into view, first a marble, then larger and larger, until it surrounds you and you pop back into the atmosphere. And you swiftly travel down the beam, seeing your surroundings below, popping back down through the ceiling and the roof, and coming back into your waiting body. Allow yourself to take a moment to feel your body again, wiggling your fingers and toes a bit, feeling the support of the chair beneath you. And when you're ready, open your eyes and journal about what you saw, thinking about what felt important to you, what you'd like to remember, any of the answers to the questions. We're going to give you 2 or 3 minutes to journal that, and then we'll go into breakout groups. Would, any, would anyone want to talk about what they discussed in the small groups? Anyone want to share anything that came up?
The universal experience is there's never enough time.
I bore witness to a lot of beautiful, deep wisdom. And I would say one of the themes that came up was just the connection to purpose in life became clearer, and also getting reassurance from their future self to just let go. I don't need to control all the moving pieces in my life. It's all going to work out. And yeah, it was just beautiful.
Um, in our group, we had a deep discussion about the difficulty of actually unplugging and relaxing enough to get to that space with all the distractions in our home office, with work in general, with the expectations during the work hours that many of us found it difficult to really dig in and have the whole experience. And so, happily, we've recorded the visualization, and Kate did such a beautiful job of presenting it to you. So you can hop in anytime you want to have that experience, when things are quieter and less distractions, and see what you can see. Hopefully you'll get inspired by the rest of our discussion to see what it's all about. It's perfectly normal that it's hard to drop in a short amount of time. So if that was your experience, nothing to worry about, just an opportunity to try again.
I really want to normalize that, Melissa. I'm glad you shared it. I think taking this as a student, I think it took me probably 2 or 3 times to of listening to the recording to get it for the first time. So please have lots of patience. It'll come through when it's ready.
I think one of the things that showed up in our group was, yes, that it's hard to do this in the middle of your day or at the very end of your day. But there were bits and pieces that people were able to hook onto. And some of that was peace and calm that came through in different parts of the visualization. For my group, it was specifically around the water aspect of it. And I want to encourage you that any part of it that gave you a feeling of peace and comfort can be very valuable, even if we never get into space, even if we never get to the future self, even if it's just the weightlessness and the peace and the connection with nature that maybe you felt in the first part of the visualization. That can be profound as well. And so we coaches have a few things that we want to share with all of you, but I also just want to give an opportunity if anyone feels like they want to say something in the bigger group, just to share.
Yeah, I want to share that what I heard from the other groups, which I was not part of, also sounded familiar, and also I also felt the same feelings, quite a peaceful and also a direction from where I am today, and should I correct any direction there into what I'm doing today to see the results later. And I was quite happy what I saw.
Thank you for sharing, Mustafa.
Welcome.
Anyone else? Okay. All right. No pressure to speak. Um, and I really want to thank you again, Mustafa, because I also connected to what you just said. And um, part of this is about being able to connect with the truest part of yourself to potentially course correct if there's any ways in which you feel you do want to do that. Um, I'm going to throw it over to Melissa to
Yeah. So I really enjoyed this. I don't always get to do the exercise when we offer this in group coaching, but I was able to today. It just reminded me how powerful it can be. Um, I know that when we are trained in highly technical work and working in highly technical fields, we often exist in more of the left side of our brains. And that exercises like this sometimes feel a little bit out of reach or maybe a little bit on the woo-woo side of things in terms of what is this? What am I really connecting with? And one of my passions in coaching is finding ways in which um, modern neuroscience connects with ancient practices like meditation and things that people have been doing for millennia to understand who we are as humans. And what I understand about how our neuroscience works is that we have a negativity bias. So that means that we are much more likely to think a series of negative thoughts. Negative thoughts can travel much more easily than positive ones. And so think about as far back in human history as you can imagine, cave person days or whatever, that if you're walking along the trail, and you miss a couple tasty berries or a beautiful sunset, no problem. You can have that experience again tomorrow. You missed the one bear or the tiger jumping out of the bushes to eat you, you're done. And so it's kind of a hangover of our evolution that we're focused on where's the bear? Where's the bear? Where's the bear? And the inner critic is really, really focused on where's the bear. And so that's why that noise is so loud in our minds. The positive thoughts or the parts of ourselves that are the kindest, wisest, most loving, the part of us who knows that we are connected to everything and everyone and that we can be our true selves and know our true selves, that part of us is very quiet. It's difficult to access because there's so much noise. And it's like our brain has, two settings. There's a 6-lane superhighway of negative thoughts where the thoughts are traveling fast and there's a lot of room for them. And then we get to the inner wisdom part and it's like this little dirt track and it has brambles and bumps and it's kind of, you chug along and you try to get somewhere, but it's more challenging. And so whatever your experience was today, the promise of this work, it does take practice. If it's something that, inspires you to experiment with a little bit and practice, that we can see in actual brain scans that when we do practices like this, we take lanes from the negative thought superhighway and we add them to the positive thought superhighway. And so over time, this little dirt track that the positive thoughts are trying to follow, it becomes stronger and faster, and those thoughts are easier to access, and that road is easier to travel. While the negative thoughts, it's just easier to redirect. And so there is a scientific basis for this work. It can also feel very spiritual if you are inclined in that way. There's a part of it that feels a little bit mysterious. But in the world of all the distractions and all the demands that we face every day, um, getting out of our head and really checking in with the part of ourself who is the wisest and most kind and most loving and most supportive of you is a really powerful experience. All right, Bethany, how about you?
That's impossible to follow, Melissa. That was so profound. That was so lovely. Thank you. Thank you so much for providing context for this and also grounding it in neuroscience. The only thing I want to add is that something I encounter a lot with my coaching clients is their frustration around a lack of acknowledgement for how hard they work. So a lot of us have tricky boss relationships or a fussy client who's never happy. And so I want you to know that this visualization of connecting to your own inner wisdom, that's what's true. And the more we can detach from external feedback about us and our performance and how good or bad we're doing, you can always come back to this. This is what's true, that you are loved. This visualization connects you to what's truly important in your life. And so I almost want you to think about this as a home base. So you can start every morning like this, or you can do a quick check-in before bed. But this is a wonderful, wonderful resource I want you to come back to when the external world feels so loud and critical of us sometimes. Um, Coaches, would this be a good time to segue into ways to now put this into practice? Yeah, Melissa, I see you nodding. Thank you. All coaches are going to have things to say, but I'll just start with something to think about is to build on this momentum of this meeting today. And so at some point over the next 2 weeks, I want to encourage you, and there are many ways to do this, but to stay connected to your inner mentor. And one of the ways to stay connected to them is imagery. Imagery is so powerful for our subconscious. And so I want you to either do a Google image search or go on Pinterest and find one image that either reminds you of your future self or their home or any of the images that you saw. And you can either make that the background image of your phone or one of your devices, or even just tape it on your bathroom mirror or somewhere in your workspace. But using imagery is a hugely profound way to stay connected to this experience. So yeah, do either of you want to jump in with other ways to stay connected?
Thank you, Bethany.
Mhm.
It's so funny that you say that because I forgot that I did just that. I put one image on my desktop background and another image on my cell phone to consistently remind me. And it does so even subconsciously all throughout the day. I was looking for, as you were speaking, the list of words, our intentions that we all set in our first session. And if you didn't set an intention in our first session, the very first question we asked of all of you was to give us one word that would describe what you want to get out of this experience. And so I just want to refresh our memory with a couple of the words. Um, to learn, to grow, resilience, sharing, tools, individual growth, feeling good, confidence, curiosity, balance. And just in me reading some of those words, I'm wondering if people are feeling how this visualization might be connected to that, to feeling those things and getting those things out of this experience. Um, and so I want to offer that as you go forward with your life in the rest of the day, it might be a useful practice to say, okay, that thing that I got out of the inner mentor visualization, maybe it is that you got a vision of what that person 20 years from now would be like, um, and what they feel is important in their values. And if you got that, might be, how can I bring that into my day moving forward? That sort of sensibility. If I'm about to write this email that I'm having a really hard time thinking about, how might that future vision of myself approach this? Right. And even if you didn't get that out of it, whatever you did get out of it, if it's ooh, I felt the calm and the relaxation of the water. Um, if you find a moment of stress and tension later on today, how can I be in that water right now? What can I do to come back into that feeling? So I want to offer that going forward, that there are ways to really activate what you felt today in useful ways throughout your day. Melissa, would you add something?
Yeah, thank you, Kate. So I have this in my office. It's just a scarf. It feels really soft and it's in all these beautiful colors that my inner mentor, my future self, would love to wear. So every time I look at it, I'm reminded of her and reminded to connect with her. So just to kind of recap what you can do from here. If you didn't feel like you were able to connect with the visualization, you can certainly watch the recording and do that if you choose. If you did have an experience where you actually, went to and had some experiences with your inner mentor, you don't necessarily need to repeat it in order to connect with it. You can find a shortcut. So what I do, it's easiest for me when I first wake up, before all the thoughts of the day, before anybody else knows I'm awake. I just tune in and kind of picture myself meeting her on the trail in the forest or sitting down to a beautiful tea table with her and asking her, how should I show up today? And her answers, I know it's her because her answers are very simple and supportive and positive and they're not complicated. They're not anything like what my normal brain or my inner critic would tell me. And so that's how I know I've connected with her. And just like Kate and Bethany were saying, that when you encounter difficult circumstances, dropping in, finding a quiet space to reconnect with whatever that energy feels like or looks like or is like for you is just like an oasis in your day to give you some peace and an opportunity to get kind of a higher perspective on whatever the struggle is that feels really tough in the moment. So I hope this will feel supportive and nourishing for you as you practice. And like we talked about before, she's not, or he or they're not just going to show up like your inner critic. You have to invite them. So practice over time is what really starts to build those pathways. All right, back to you, Kate.
Okay, so um, as a between now and next time thought experiment, I'm going to offer what we call the game plan. And it's actually a little bit of an extension of what Melissa was just talking about. It's a 3-step process that you can engage with throughout your day. And like any habit that we're trying to build, we want to encourage you to do it mindfully for at least a week. I'd say 2 weeks, but at least a week. Um, and it's these 3 questions. And I'm going to send you a handout after this that will remind you of what the questions are if you don't want to write it down right now. The first question is, sometime when you wake up in the morning, when you're doing your morning routine, how would my inner mentor like to show up today? And whatever they say, just kind of hold it as an intention. And as Melissa said, usually it's something very simple, straightforward. How would that that wisest part of me like to show up in the day? Might say confident, might say grounded, might say as a listener. I don't know. Whatever it says, just hold it. The next part is at some point, usually, we have to meet with someone or a group of someones. Before that meeting, take a moment to check in with that part of yourself again and ask it, how do you want other people to feel after I've left them? So after this meeting is over, how should the other people feel? And then just hold that as an intention for the meeting. You don't have to do anything else with it. And then the last part is, it could be at the end of your day, it could be right after that really hard meeting, whenever it is, to check in again and ask, how would you take care of yourself today? Ask that wisest part of yourself. How would you take care of you today? And then do it. Take care of yourself in that way today. And it might be, as I just saw Bianca do, it might be like, drink more water, drink more water. Or it could be a million other things. But whatever it is, to just try that. And I just realized, I looked down, we're over time. So don't want to keep you all too long. You will get an email with further resources. And don't forget to schedule your one-on-ones with your coach. Thank you for being here with us today.
Thank you. Great to see you all. Enjoy the rest
Thank
of
you.
the evenings.
See you
Thank
next
you.
meeting.
Have a nice
Thank
day.
you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.